Hello, you guys, and welcome to the Go Ahead, Jim.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being gracious. The Women's Cave.
So it's the Woman's Cave, not
the.
I had to get part of the title. Really with all the flags.
Okay, you know,
I'm sorry.
I have to do that today because, as you recognize, my glasses aren't the same one.
Yeah, I know. I'm not even gonna.
Okay, so like I packed them. I went to Florida,
and that's it.
I'm not sure if they got in the suitcase to come back home. So we'll see. We'll see though. If not, I'll be making a frantic call to the hotel. I'm blind. I can't see without my glasses. I'm blind. I'll just
okay,
extra.
Yeah.
I'm Jade though.
I'm Winona. And yes, remember to introduce us. Okay, stop. I gotta stop doing the dancing thing. Yeah. What?
So
wardrobe malfunction.
Please don't be. Never mind. Anyway,
we have books.
Yeah, and we wrote the And I Thought series. And I Thought Divorce Was Bad with Other Life Lessons. Also available on Audible. Joe Sands, thank you very much. You did a great job. And I thought being grown up was easy. We all did, and we recognize now. And I thought I could juggle it all. We can't, but we try anyway. And I thought I could do my journey alone, but I think that might be out of. Oh wait, we have one.
No, there's one.
There's one. We have one to show you guys. I'm so excited because I was like, I think we sold a lot of them last weekend. Thank you, Indy.
It was nice.
Thank you. And I thought he was the one, and I thought I had it all figured out, which just fell. Oh, it's right here too.
Yeah.
And let's see.
Hollywood still needs to be a TV show.
It does not. Her head needs to be no bigger than it is.
Oh,
and the Misfit guys are Sassy Sway, Lisa Cooker Footprints, and Misfit guys, Cocktail Stories, and the LBD, the Little Black Dress. Just wanted to say that. And then Winona has some books by herself, which is the Widow Debt series, and then I helped her write, I guess, a women's lit book.
Yeah, women's lit and script.
And the script. So the women's lit book is Pouring Coffee, and it is like us retelling a tale that we told, and I thought divorce was bad. And then the managers, which is all Winona's brainchild. Okay. And you can check out every and all of that. Oh, wait, the 25 hottest magazines. You guys check that out. Buy it digitally, save a treat. It's only $4.50. And you can check out all of that on www.andwethought.com or Amazon.com, not the magazine, but all the other books and
BarnesandNoble.com. Whew, that was long.
It was long. It's because of my coffee hasn't kicked in yet.
Okay. Maybe it's because we did all the books because we never do them all. Anyway, let's move on. We have an amazing guest today.
I know, right? And her glasses are amazing. So, amazing guest, introduce yourself.
I think I should just go with amazing guest. I like that.
Okay.
Well, this amazing guest, my name is Ellyn. I'm known as the Retro Rad Chef on the Food Network. I take the old, I remix it and make it new through retro redos like slow cooking, pressure cooking. I encourage everyone to break into their mother's recipe boxes and dust off those old recipes and relive them, celebrate them. So, I just got invited by you two fabulous divas, and now I'm going to do my speed dating interview with you guys. And I wish you were here. I wish you would have contacted me when you were in Orlando so I could have fed you.
It's okay because any reason we go to Florida, we'll just have to you'll have to listen to us read a poem or two. So in that way, we can take it off on taxes.
No, you need to come to our movie premiere. We're trying to do it in Florida.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll figure out something.
We'll find the dresses.
Yeah.
And we'll go.
Absolutely.
Okay, for all of you guys who never mind. It was before the beginning of the show. So, we had this whole dress thing. I'm cheap. Jade's up for Poet of the Year, and she found cool dresses. So
I love a good deal.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So
I have a question.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have answers, I hope.
Okay, Jade,
go ahead. Go ahead. You just put your hand all up in the closet.
All right, fine. Yes. Anyway, Emily, how did you find out that you like food? I know this is like the one you gotta be like hearing all the time.
That she likes food? I mean,
like
she wants
cooking
to live.
food.
Oh, cooking. Being a chef. Oh.
You know what I meant, right?
Sense.
Yeah, well, I fell in love with food when I fell in love with eating, which was basically birth. So I knew that this was going to be my forte, like very early on. And even though I'm in Orlando right now, I grew up in a very rural town in Ohio, and we grew and raised everything that we ate. So we had really good food. And it was just like, it just happened, we would cook and it was good. Like it was farm to table before farm to table was even like a thing, we were eating. That's why I'm always like, farm to table, what the hell does that mean? Doesn't it mean eating? But that's pretty much how I like fell in love with food. Falling in love with cooking, my parents were really good cooks, and I just had a real passion for it. I always had a lot of energy as well, and I never really slept as a child. So like at 7 or 8, I would push the chair to the stove. I'm like so glad that I didn't burn down the house. But I would like make everybody breakfast. Like I'd wake up before everyone, I'd make them breakfast and I'd set it out like all gourmet, like I was in a restaurant. And it just kind of like became a thing. And then I realized that there was more to just feeding people food. It was more about like nourishing people. And that's kind of my mantra it started evolving and that I live by now, is that I nourish people through hearts, minds, and stomachs. And gathering people around the table is a very spiritual experience. So if I can like set that table and get people together, and like you have a table right here, you have this platform, and get people to talk together with one another and like learn about one another, then we're just becoming like a more empowered community. So yeah.
Absolutely. I totally believe in that. Maybe it's because I like to eat. And
I think it's
whenever I see a table like set with food, makes my whole week.
Well, there's a few things that I don't really eat.
Yeah, what don't you eat?
Actually, it's creamed Brussels sprouts. And
I think that's probably one that other people have on their list too. Creamed Brussels. That seems like a bad one.
Breakfast. Most of the British breakfast, I don't get beans and stewed tomatoes
in the morning.
And
a lot of sauce. It's a very heavy breakfast. I know.
I don't want that much gas in the morning.
No.
Did you have to say that?
Beans, good for the heart. The more you eat, the more you come on, people.
No, it keeps you healthy. I know. I do like making breakfast. I'm not like a very big breakfast person, especially a big like hearty English breakfast. That's a lot. I mean, when I went to school, one of my schools was in France, and then I found an English pub to cook at while I was going to school. So that was one of my favorite things to make, though, is a big hearty English breakfast.
And
mouth insert.
Yep.
No, but I'm like with you. I mean, maybe I'd rather like watch the soccer matches and drink, and then like feed people a big English breakfast. Is that bad?
I feel bad because the only reason I brought it up because we go to England next month, and so now foot mouth insert you on leather. Sorry about that. Jade, ask a question so I can get out.
Okay, so you were talking about your school experiences and how you were left through school. So let's talk about your schooling. Like, how did you decide which school to go to?
Well, falling in love with cooking and feeding people very early on, I was always doing it. And so like my parents owned a construction company.
Nice.
I know this sounds like kind of like far off, but my dad would throw these parties after every phase of the building. Like if the painters were done or some phase of the construction was done, he would do like a big cook-off for everybody to appreciate everyone. So they would have like big barbecues or what have you. And I would always be like, I want to help. And then after a while, I'm like, wait, we have all this food. Why are we getting it catered? Like we have gardens full of vegetables and what have you. Like, let me make the big salads. Or we also had cattle because we grew up we had a big farm. And I'm like, well, why aren't we supplying the burgers and the steaks? And so after a while, I was just like, Dad, I got this. And I started my own catering company with my little sister, who's only like, 13 months my junior. And we had like the youngest catering company in town. I was like 11, 12.
Absolutely.
And then all the subcontractors thought that was so cute, and then we'd make cookies for them and do like holiday parties for them as well. And then, people saw that it was a passion, and they heard, I kind of like overheard these adults talking, and I'm like, they're saying, banging pots and pans together in celebration.
Oh my God. I just knocked over our award.
We did.
Oh.
It's fine.
Please discreetly pick it up, and I'll zoom into the camera so everybody's focused.
It's fine. So you had subcontractors.
Yeah. So anyways, I had this catering company at the age of 12, and the adults started talking. They're like, wow, if Emmy is serious about this, she needs to go to the Culinary Institute of America. It's supposed to be the best school in the United States. It's in Hyde Park, New York. It's like fabulous. La, la, la. I overheard. I'm like, okay, I don't know how to get there. I don't know how much it is. I don't know what it entails, but I'm going. And I had like my sights set on it. And even though like when I was 18, you're supposed to be applying for colleges, I only applied for that, even though my mom was like, are you sure? Like she's trying to protect me. Maybe we should do some practice interviews with some other schools, like in case you don't get in. Oh my God, And so I did some practice interviews, but this is so synchronistic. On my 18th birthday, we were all having a picnic outside, and we don't have cell phones carrying them around anymore. I go in to get napkins or something into the house, and the phone rings on the wall. I pick it up, and it is the Culinary Institute of America calls me on my birthday. I mean, they didn't know. Admissions didn't know. And they're like, would you like to start in July, which is like a month from now, or in October? And I'm like, well, I'm like, I have to get some work done, Like I'm such an entrepreneur at that age. I'm like, no, I'll start in October. And I'm in shock. I like carry out the napkins or everything. And I go in front of my family. I was like, oh my God. And I went to the Culinary Institute of America. And then from there, like I enjoyed cooking. I had always been working in restaurants and going to school and keeping busy. But the professors had a real instinct, and they started kind of grooming me to be more in the front of the house and teaching. And they really thought that I had a skill that I could like impart. So they encouraged me to stay on. I did a teaching assistantship there. Then I went to Paris to the Académie Internationale du Management, got a master's, got another master's. Long story short, ended up in Orlando to finish my PhD. But, like how schools are, they like your money. So, I got another master's. I did my PhD studies in Orlando and in education with a focus on hospitality management, restaurant management. So I just feel like as I kept evolving this passion for learning and teaching, that when I was asked to eventually be on TV, I had like this bigger classroom, and it just like all fell into place. It was totally kismet. So
okay, I have to ask, how many interviews have you done? Because every question I have running through my head, you're knocking them out this has been the 6th one.
No, I don't know. I'm just waiting for you guys to cut me off.
No. Okay, we're awesome. So we're storytellers, so we love to be told a story.
Yeah,
like it's one of our passion. We're like, oh, please tell me more of your story.
Well, you're so inspiring. Like you have like this library, and I've been procrastinating on writing my book. So I am going to get my tushy in gear, and I'm going to start writing as a result.
That's a really good idea. Why don't you let us write with you?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna be the narcissist. We're on air. I'm gonna be the narcissist. So around here,
the cocktail soirees
and the LBD is a cocktail life guide book, the cocktail recipe. And I thought Grown Up Was Easy is a biscuit recipe life book. So yeah. Anyway, moving on.
I gotta get those and do some reading up.
Not necessary.
Not necessary. Although the biscuit recipe did come from Winona's late mother, which is amazing.
Oh, I love that. See, that's totally retro rad. That's right up my alley. Perfect.
And the only thing she
Okay,
said,
wait.
that was the only book she ever read, and then she was like, "You messed up my biscuit recipe."
Because we told people to have a half a stick of shortening or butter, and she was like, "It's a whole stick," and we left it in there as a half a stick. But at the end of the recipe, you'll see a whole stick. And we always tell people it's because it depends on how your life is. Sometimes you can't afford to put a whole stick.
That's right.
Sometimes you just this half a stick is what you get. So
you might be in Florida and it's humid, and you don't need a whole stick of butter.
see, there it is. And you don't need a whole stick.
I'm making biscuits in Florida from now on.
So why retro rad?
Really? It was in my head too. Oh, this is great. Yeah.
Well, I have always had this affinity to the past, especially the 50s and the 60s. That always has resonated with me. Even my mom was like, it wasn't cool when I lived through it. Like, what is going on? Like, I didn't need glasses until I was 17, 18 years old. And of course I picked out like these giant cat-eye glasses, and she's like, again, we were forced to wear this. What are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I love it. I would like have my hair pulled back tight, like in ponytails and poodle skirts. And I have always had this like odd past life.
Yeah. So if you ever look at our brand, we are totally, I think, 1950s housewives.
Yeah.
Yes. And there is something special about that, isn't there? There's like
although
piece to it.
Her dad grew up during that time, and he keeps going, black girls and that on purpose.
And we
know, like, I think
norms. Let's break norms.
all of our parents are like, we lived it, and now you guys are like, you're not getting it. Do we have to give you
the only reason we like it is because we don't have to live it. It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Exactly.
Like, I can put on my jeans and not have to worry about my dad being like, what? Women don't wear pants? There's actually one of his friends, like, story she was telling me, man, it's so fortunate you guys grew up in the era that you grew up in, because my dad would not allow us to wear pants, because women do not wear pants. And so her mom, when her dad went to work, her mom would be like, okay, hurry up, girls, and change to your pants. And she would let them wear pants for 7 hours. And then she was like, oh, your dad's about to come home. Change back into your skirts.
That's right. I mean, it's so true. Like, it was an era that realistically was very like hardcore Depression era. You know, there was none of this like freedom to do anything. Freedom for women, freedom for anyone different, Black, Hispanic. Oh my gosh. You know, like, no. And still, though, on television and in this like weird like home life that they created, this like perfection, there is some kind of like odd peace and like pull to it. Like, if we could block out all that bullshit that was happening, you're like, and we could just live the June Cleaver that was on TV, even though you know she was probably like offset, like drinking and like,
Sing it out, Prozac.
Yeah.
She's like, no, make a cocktail. Start with crushed Prozac.
Oh yeah, and they were all like drugged up, you know. And yeah, but in that like perfection where he comes home and you give him a martini, or you have these parties with each other and everybody's eating like little perfect crumpets that you've like baked all day, and they're like perfect.
Which brings me back to a segue. I'm gonna say you said, oh wait, okay, yeah. We're running out of time. So, but I have to ask. Yes. You said that you love old recipe books. I'm gonna throw in a little something about Jade. She has a recipe book from 1938.
It was one of my mom's, her oldest friends. She was a home ec teacher, and I got married, and she said,
and she can't cook.
And I can't.
But she cooks 6 dishes.
Yeah, I do my 6 dishes well. Darn it! And so she's like,
every great cook needs eaters and dishwashers in their life. You know, like, it's okay.
And so she gave me this book because I was trying to figure out how to make a meatloaf, and it was going badly. Like, I think I burnt it like 5 times. It was going horribly.
Oh,
and so she gave me the book.
But shame on her for not teaching you how to cook better.
No. Like, my mother taught me, I bake. Like, I bake like cookies and cakes.
Oh, good.
Like, so, because she made all the meals, and so all that was left was dessert. So that was me. Like, I'm the dessert person. I make really good drinks. Like, I am the extra.
You're the hostess with the mostess. Yeah, you're like the You put the cherry on top. That's
right. I'm the sides person. You want me to bring sides? All of it. Your meat, on the other hand, you might not want to trust me. You want to go with the 6 dishes I know how to prepare.
So anyway, I brought up that question because I wanted to be like, so what is your most like unique vintage dish that you like to make?
Oh, because then you had me thinking about like my recipe book collection, and I have like a really odd collection. I have bins and bins of those books that were, I know I'm not answering the question like to order. But you know those like little pamphlet cookbooks that went with like your Cutco knives and your pots and pans? I have like an oddly large collection of that.
Nice.
I have another collection of spiral bound cookbooks from like all the churches and the women's clubs. And then I have another couple like real good collector's items like that one that your mother gave you, you know, like the special, the first edition of Joy of Cooking and those. So yeah, I'm like,
she told me
that was from my father. He gave it to us. So.
I love it. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
So in this book though, it teaches you how to make simple syrup. So in limeade from limes, like I was like, yes, this is my book.
Yeah, it's so great. I know. And when I do cocktails, I always say, you know, yes, you have to know how to make the basics. Simple syrup is simple. It's just equal parts sugar and water or some kind of sweetener and liquid. And you cook it down until the sweeteners dissolve.
I didn't know that until this book, and it was beautiful.
Right. You need that, yeah.
I'm sorry. What was your recipe?
Well, okay, I will tell you that I don't know if I have like one like in particular, but I will tell you for lunch I did make tuna noodle casserole. How retro is that?
Yeah,
wow. I did
like specialties that no one likes to eat.
Why? Tuna noodle.
18th century peanut butter and something soup. Peanut butter and pumpkin soup.
Peanut butter and pumpkin is an awesome combo. And you know,
Ginsburg book. It's like it looks horrible. No one wants to eat that.
I love you have peanut butter and pumpkin, and that's all you have. You just mix that up and be like, "This is
right." But they actually pair really well. I will share a book that I always share as like a go-to kind of clean out the refrigerator inspiration cookbook. It's not like a traditional follow this like 10 ounces, blah blah blah. It is called the Flavor Bible. And it's a comprehensive guide. It goes from like A to Z, apple to zucchini. And you look it up and you're like, squash or pumpkin, what does it pair with? And it's like peanut butter. And it tells you like the direct pairings. So maybe it's not so far off, you know, that those are good pairings. And, you know, squash and peanuts were like those are both very African flavors. And they were raised in the same garden. So, you know, like a lot of times, food that's indigenous with other foods pair really well together. So you kind of have to think about that. And I love food history, like peanut butter and jelly, for instance. Like, why is that? Why do Americans love it? Like we would starve to death if we didn't have peanut butter and jellies growing up. Mm-hmm. And the whole like start of this, funny enough, is from cocktailing. It's a cocktail culture. So back when you were in the cocktail cultures in the early 1900s, they would do celery with aspic, and then they would do these peanut butter profiteroles, things like that. So here you go. You have like jellies and peanuts, the peanut butter, and then, you know, then it started going from the more, you know, from the less elite, and everyone started like making the recipes and interpreting these cocktail recipes. And they're like, screw it, ants on a log, you know, celery, put the peanut butter, put, you know, jelly or raisins or something like that. Let's make these peanut butter and aspic sandwiches. And it kind of like evolved from that. And then now we have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Wow. That is amazing. Where can people find you really quickly?
You can come and visit me at emilyellen.com. And then I have all the social handles, you know, it's my name. Or you can Google Retro Rad and my cheesy face will pop up with my glasses. And you'll find me. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and you know, all that.
And apparently she was on TV. So
yeah, she's on TV. Oh, we never talked about the TV stuff, but you know.
I really wanted to. Well,
no.
Can I have one more minute?
No. Oh, you can't because it's something.
Oh.
So
our state dating interview's over.
I know, but we can always have a part 2. You know, we love to talk about food on this show. Obviously.
If you want to. I mean, because I know we're bad interviewers.
I know. One day when we grow up.
When I grow up, we'll maybe we should have another interview before we all grow up because
absolutely. So you guys, you can find out what your ladies are doing as always on www.andwethought.com. And to thank our guest today for coming on, and remember,
charities.
To support the charities that we probably support, you can go to the ladies tab when you go to our website. Right there in the middle. Right there in the middle, not on the middle, in the middle. And as always, you guys remember that wisdom is all around you.
You're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona, who I don't think I'm ever getting my nails done again.
And Jade, bye-bye.